Can you see it? I have it for you guys. Also, it's really soft. Hi guys, my name is Eleni. Welcome to me. I'm back. If you follow me on social media and you're wondering why hasn't she posted a video in a week, why does she continuously keep complaining that she's sick? Well, it's because I'm sick, and two, it's not the normal I need 24 hours because I'm kind of not feeling well. Excuse me. I have to leave the cough in so you know I'm not lying to you. I don't get sick very often. Like, I don't get properly sick very often. Like everyone else, if the weather's changing and it's kind of miserable, like today it's like rainy and dark all the time, I do feel kind of off, and sometimes, you know, you kind of feel kind of under the weather. Like, you feel a little sleepy and you're thinking, maybe if I just slept a little more today. It's like a proper, like, chest, head cold type of thing. And earlier in the week, it was like the kind of cough where you know it's coming right from the chest. Like, I could feel it right in there. And I think you can kind of hear it a little bit, because even though I don't have like a small nose, it's very narrow up here. So when I get any kind of sinus blockage, it takes forever to drain. So I sound a little more nasally than I normally do. So with a combination of the Tylenol cough syrup, but it's like a Tylenol complete, so, you know, everything for aches and pains and sneezing and stuff like that, and my inhalers, and rubbing myself with Vicks and all that kind of stuff, I'm now feeling better. But I don't sleep very well when I'm sick. Other people can get rid of their colds in 48 hours because they just sleep. I can't. I can't do it. I don't know. So I do need more sleep. So still kind of complaining like a child because I'm sick and people feel sorry for me. I got my sister sick, which is awesome. She smokes, and so it's just so much worse. It's getting better slowly, just kind of behind me. I got my dad sick. That's awesome. I really hope I don't get my mom sick. I don't know, but so it's just something that's going around. Every time I get sick, like, I do very much believe in medications, especially when I'm feeling so awful. I'm like, just give me whatever will make me feel better. That's my judgment at the time. But I also believe in boosting with like natural remedies. So I'm always like asking my parents or asking other people, because culturally we all do things a little differently, or we all have these really great remedies that can help boost us. So I always look for that, and I thought it would be really interesting to talk about 5 remedies for different things, not just for colds, that I've heard from my parents over the years. So we're Greek, but I know that a lot of things where everyone's like, oh, well, Greek people do this, but like, if you talk to enough people, you realize that culturally there's a lot of things we do very similarly. So I'm going to give you the 5 kind of remedies for things that I know, and I'd love to hear from you guys if you have something similar, or if you have something just like to add to the list, because maybe I just think it's cool, but anyway, I think it's cool. Number 1, this is actually what my dad does when he's sick. He does kind of now, in the past few years, he will take like an Advil or a Tylenol or something like that. Like, he always did take something that the doctor would prescribe, but he also didn't necessarily like to go to the doctor all the time, especially for like a cold or the flu. He didn't see the reason, and he didn't like to take medication. So what he would do is he'd cook himself a steak, eat that with a few cloves of raw garlic, glass or 2 of red wine, Vicks front and back, bundle himself up, go to sleep, and the next day he was fine. No medication, no nothing. Stank to high heaven, but he was fine. Seriously, you know, you get stinky for a little while, but your cold doesn't last. And that makes logical sense to me, because I know, like, if you are a meat eater, right, there are benefits to red meat. Not all the time, but sometimes. And of course, garlic and red wine is also good for you. So I'm thinking you combine all those things, you have a really good sleep, which I'm sure the wine helps, and you feel better. Number 2 is also a cold remedy. You guys have probably heard of this. They've done it on BuzzFeed. It's been in articles, but the cupping, where they use glass cups on the back, and it's supposed to draw out cold and toxins and everything like that. So my parents grew up getting that done. Both grandmothers knew how to do that. And I do believe it helps. I've never had it done. I would try it. I've seen it done once live. I was little, so it freaked me out because I think my mom had pneumonia and I was really, really little. So what I remember is my mom laying there, my grandma, I mean, think of it from the perspective of a little kid, right? Mommy's sick. Grandma's got a cup. She's got a fork with cotton wrapped around it. She's dipped it in rubbing alcohol, lit it on fire, swirled it around the cup, popped it on my mom's back, you know, moved it around a little bit, taken it off, and there are these red marks left. Now, the red marks left fairly quickly. They didn't stay on there. But when you're little, your mom's sick, and your grandma's using fire, and there are marks on her back, and you don't quite understand what's going on. But I believe, if memory serves, she did feel better. And she said, like my parents said, like every household had the cups specifically for this, and there were even smaller cups for children. So it is safe if you know what you're doing. I guess the science behind that, I mean, I don't science, so just bear with my horrible explanation, but I know that, you know, the fire inside the cup removes all the oxygen, so it's creating that suction. The suction, I don't know if it's the heat or the suction action. Maybe it's helping with the muscles, because also when you're sick, your muscles are really sore and all that kind of stuff. So maybe it is drawing something out. So that's why I think it works. 3, and this is like super old school. I think my dad said his grandmother did this. So anytime someone had like something, and he said specifically on the face, so I don't know if it was like a wart or some kind of something that you had, they would take a hot pan and they hold it in front of the face, right? So, and then she would say this kind of poem, and it's not a prayer, and it's not a poem necessarily to do with what's happening, but this poem that I don't remember, to be honest with you. And then they would be able to remove it. I'm thinking that the heat from the hot pan softened whatever it is up, and it was able to be effectively removed. And, you know, when you apply enough heat and everything's kind of softer, maybe they could remove it from the root so it didn't come back. The whole poem thing, you know, older people with their stories and their poems and all that kind of stuff. My guess is the length of the poem corresponded to the length of the time he had to hold that hot pan to properly heat up whatever was going on. But I thought that was cool, and it worked, right? Number 4, my mom said her brother had, at some point when he was younger, on the back of the neck, these 2 or 3, I guess cysts would be the translation. And they were under the skin, and no one could really do anything about it. And my grandmother took the inside of the bread, the soft part, chewed it, put it on the back, covered it, and then the next day was able to kind of open them up and extract everything out. My guess is that the wet kind of bread helped bring whatever it was out so it could be popped, and maybe even a combination of the saliva and the yeast did something. But again, it worked, and you could get it all the way out, and, you know, he's never had anything since. He's in his 60s now. And the final one, and this is kind of like the ultimate do not try this at home type of thing. Only specific people knew how to do this, but whenever someone had a herniated disc, because, you know, like, how many people like did manual labor and all that kind of stuff, like especially in Greece and stuff, well, where my parents grew up and stuff like that. And each parent, even though my parents didn't know each other when they were in Greece, they knew each other here. They had people in the family that knew how to throw a herniated disc back in place. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but basically they would take the lower back and you kind of massage it. Let me see if I can show you. Hang on. and you kind of, they would grab it like this, and then grab the sides. But they would do kind of for a while and then grab the sides, and you'd have to really know what you were doing and kind of like that motion, but really just, my guess is they were just literally like massaging, and when it hit the right spot, they were able to grab and just throw the disc back into place. And I know, like, by today's standards, you'd be like, why would you let someone do that? All the stories I know, everybody knew how to cure things at home. It's not that they didn't have doctors, they did, but that's kind of, everybody kind of did their own remedies. Even the doctors were cool with all of these older remedies and stuff like that. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think a lot of people do that stuff now. I think things that are in right now, I think a lot of the alternative medicines and things that might be in or trendy come from somewhere a long time ago, and I think it's really cool. I hope you found this as interesting as I did. I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thank you always for watching. Please take care of yourselves so you can take care of each other, and I will see you soon.